There it is right there. Look at that. And so I said, so you think the town of Lytton burning is funny? Like, why would she leave a laughing part on that? Like, unbelievable. That's really rude. Hello and happy Canada Day. I think you can see it here. My angle's a little bit. As you can see, I'm drinking Canadian Crown pomegranate juice. Delicious. We're gonna talk about some serious issues now. I guess Lytton, which just was destroyed by a fire, literally, like the entire town.
Let's go to Vancouver right now. Lindsay Duncombe covering this story for us today. So Lindsay, let's begin with what started this fire. What do we know about that?
Okay.
Well, the cause is still under investigation, Michael. Obviously, the conditions very much a tinderbox.
I don't have headphones.
The mayor gave the evacuation order at supper time around 6 p.m. last night, and it did not take very long for things to just burst into flame. We are seeing this dramatic video of what the escape from Lytton looked like.
This looks just insanely freaky. The heat must be just overwhelming there, like way overwhelming.
Already engulfed.
It was over 40 degrees.
You could hear
without a fire.
And the emotion in the mayor's
Lytton is
voice
normally
when he
known
talked
as
to
the
us last
hottest place, the most sunniest place in BC. It always is sunny there. It's generally known as the hottest place. It has the hottest average temperatures, from what I know.
I drove through town and it was just smoke, flames. The wires were down. There were a couple of fire crews that were going door to door, and yeah, we were just getting people out as fast as possible.
And those people went in all different directions to many different communities.
They've gone to different places. Lillooet, Hope, I think, Merritt and Boston Bar would be the places, the most common places. Not sure what the population is. Let's take a look here. Holy. It says 249 people lived there in 2016. Huh. Although another 1,700 live in the rural, immediate area and rural area. It's really good juice. Yeah, so I have a friend that lives up there. I talked to him just like a few months ago. I haven't seen him in quite a while. I hope he's okay. He's actually this guy that used to do these skits with me a long time ago. Long before the YouTube days. And I always wished he could have got involved. He sort of was in one video. He did some audio stuff. Hopefully we can run into each other down the road here. 90% of BC town destroyed. That's 7 hours ago. I've heard basically the whole town is destroyed. An entire town destroyed by a fire. Evacuation order. TNRD has issued an evacuation order for 87 properties in EA, Blue Sky Country, due to a wildfire event. First of all, wildfire, I don't know. Let's take a look here. Most homes in Lytton destroyed by catastrophic fire, minister says. More than 1,000 people fled village. Okay, now there's 1,000 people. Oh, and surrounding area. Yeah. So there's around 2,000 people. Dozens of families forced to flee their homes as a catastrophic fire devastated a small village in BC's Fraser Canyon. Are now working to find loved ones scattered in the evacuations. More than 1,000 people living in around Lytton, BC, northeast of Vancouver, were forced to leave with little notice on Wednesday. That's yesterday. They raced out of town as smoke and flames virtually decimated the entire community in one of the most destructive fire emergencies in recent memories. It says here, though, somewhere that they believe a CN train might be responsible. Where the heck is this? Everybody in Lytton has lost everything. We'll come back to that in a second here. Officials suspect train caused fire. Hildebrandt said officials have a suspicion as to how the fire started. It's still not confirmed, but it appears a train may have sparked the blaze, he told CBC News. BC Premier John Horgan said he'd heard the train rumor anecdotally. Train theory, it says. But cautioned the investigation is ongoing. CN Rail did not report any issues to the Transportation Safety Board, TSB, related to a train incident in Lytton, the agency said Thursday. The TSB has not received any reports that the fires in Lytton, BC were started by a train, said spokesperson Chris Krebsky. You know what? There were comments. I was talking about 486 people died as a result of Heatwave. Unofficially, I'm sure that, like someone said, oh, how do you know that they were all that? I mean, of course, most of them were obviously COVID and maybe a few ODs. But no, seriously, when you know, it's called a spike. Learn about it. I mean, by process of elimination, I'm pretty sure that most of these were something to do with the heat. There were ambulances going all over the place trying to attend to victims. They couldn't get to them.
Some are good and some are bad. Can't ask your mama or even your dad. Just send them to Derek to shot. He'll set you straight, he's got what it takes. He'll answer your comments while eating cornflakes. Comments. Just send them to Derek to shot.
Argument. Someone said, because firefighters may... Oh, yeah. Miva Rue said, why can't people volunteer to help out? Because, you know, people are waiting 2 to 3 hours, sometimes more hours, for paramedics to get there. And they even said, unknown people speaking anonymously, that certain paramedics said that they would get there, someone would already be dead or in too grave a condition. They'd have to help someone else to try to save their lives. Because they're undermanned, they're understaffed, and, you know, this girl here, she has it all figured out. It's, well, in terms of volunteer work, volunteer firefighters make $15 to $25 an hour, and nobody wants to be paid peanuts for saving lives. See, this is what I'm misunderstanding really here, a number of things. It's just like, volunteer firefighter, I thought volunteer didn't get paid. So, you know, maybe explain it to me like I'm a 6-year-old, because volunteering for $20 an hour sounds like a pretty good volunteer job for me.
How much does a volunteer firefighter make? About $107,547.
And I said, nobody wants to save lives for free. That's pretty negative. Of course people want to save lives for free. It's just that, I guess, well, she said, and the ones that do, who want to save lives for free, are absolute selfless heroes. That's like the only good thing she said. But of course most people don't want to do things for free. But I mean, the way she brings it up, but even if it was a full paying job and you're only getting 20, I can understand that's low. Okay, I get it. She's the one that brings this up. It seems like she's focusing on that. Like, in parenthesis, I also wouldn't either. Like, why would I do that? And that's the message I was getting. You know what I mean? Like, if you roll a bunch of Easter eggs out into the middle of the floor, and there's a bunch of kids from South Park, who's going to it first? Cartman, obviously. Why does he go to it first? Because he wants it more. Why does she say that nobody wants to work for that amount of money? Because she's the one that thinks like that. And that's what I call you, if you're watching. Of course you don't, because you don't know about this video. I'm a very unpopular channel. But you, who said that, or anyone who says something like that and has that attitude, is a cheapskate. They put themselves in direct line of risk every day, and they're paid $15 to $25 an hour. That's ridiculous. I spoke to a girl last night who's a trained wildfighter. What?
Oops.
And she said there would be so many more people if the pay wasn't so bad, obviously. She has kids. Why would she risk her life and her children's mother for a wildfire? She would be fighting underpaid and overworked, and that doesn't even have... Wait, she wouldn't want to work in this condition even though she is a wildfighter? A bit of editing there. I don't know what she means. I really have no idea what she's talking about. Lots of paramedics get PTSD, and I'm not sure how taking the risk of that is worth $15 to $25 an hour on a volunteer basis. I said, you're nuts. And she says, am I? Because the proof is in the pudding, and the staffing shortages and lack of funding. Nothing is going to change if we keep pretending like it's not the government's job to deal with this shit. I never said anything about the government. I mean, that's old news. I said, you're going off topic now. I'm saying there are people that don't care so much about money. Believe me, because I'm one of them. Now, maybe I'm going off track. I went on 43-degree temperatures the other day and filmed a music video. Counting, singing, and editing. It worked for 19 hours straight, and I didn't make a cent. I think saving a few lives, if I had to pick some up and carry them to a vehicle, would have been a walk in the park. Facts. The point is that I was saying, like, if you have bodies lying, apparently there are numerous people that died in this old folks home, and there were different apartments where people were in their apartments. Oh, help, please. And there was this guy on the news, his grandma was like 87, and she was crying, when are they going to come? When are they going to come? This guy who was saying that he couldn't get his... Didn't this guy have any way to drive her somewhere? Like, if he didn't... I mean, I don't know where this guy lived. His grandma's dying and stuff. But if they're sitting there waiting for emergency, there's no way this guy could drive. I mean, she's 87 and his grandma, he looked like he's got to be 35, 40 years old anyway. If not, he couldn't find a friend or even a taxi cab just to get her to some store where he could go in and cool off for 10 minutes while eating a Reese's peanut butter ice cream bar. I'm saying there are people that don't care so much about money. They're heroic people that just want to help, like in the movies. Like Jason Statham. I'm not about the money. I'm just about fighting. I'm an Englishman, and if I see you, I'll probably, punch you out a little bit, and then we'll have a bowl of golden grams together and talk about our past. And this girl Samantha's like, I really hope I'm misinterpreting something here. Are you comparing paramedicine to filming music videos? I mean, it just has to come in with her snobby ways like she knows everything. It's not even about comparing. It's just simply that I was working, and it's like you got a couple people lying in a hallway that they can't get to the ambulance. All you gotta do is bring them to a lake. Boom, you throw them in the lake. It's like Jesus did. He throws them in the lake, and all of a sudden they're better. And he gives them... Dude, Jesus had connections with the fish stick industries. Captain Highlander, those guys hold nothing. These are Jesus sticks. Jesus sticks! Jesus! I'm comparing working on a hot day to working on a hot day. Pretty simple. Tyson Fury would say that. He'd be like, I'm paying working on a hot day to working on a hot day. Simple. And if you got a problem with that, I'm going to bash your brains in. I'm going to smash you to bits. Just like I did Vladimir Klitschko. I went in there, nobody gave me a chance. I told them I'm going in to attack them. And then people will say your Irish accent. So I was like, ha, fooled you. That's an Irish-English cross. What's up? Believe me, I've worked heavy construction many full days in blazing heat, then gone to a gym for 2 hours. And physically, aside from some of the record heat we faced, that's a little different than making a music video. But if I had to choose to do either one of them in terms of difficulty, I'd take a whole week of that construction plus 10 hours of gym over that one. No, I wouldn't. That's hard. But no, seriously, it's still harder doing... It's harder doing videos. It just is. What do you base on? Some people say, what do you base that on? I base it on this. Anybody can do construction work. Only like 7 people can do music videos. Physical work is something that almost every person can do. Oh, see? There you go. Amberly Stevens, right. Oh boy. This thread was starting on the conversation. The system is failing the public, and this heat wave made that very clear by the lack of adequate response to a huge volume of emergency situations. For you to insinuate that someone who has put themselves through there she goes with the post-secondary. But basically she's just going, you're comparing it, you gotta go through this potential danger, there's risk, just blah, 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 blah. All I said was some people are willing to do some work, and you gotta come in here and argue with me because I don't even know what this person's talking about. She's up to compare. And I said I was commenting on a comment that was specifically about volunteering. I really don't want to talk to you anymore, though. I have a friend who lives up in Lytton, the town that was burnt by fire. I just remembered about, I'm the one who's rude. And she commented on that a little later. Can we get a look at that? There it is right there. Look at that. And so I said, so you think the town of Lytton burning is funny? Like, why would she leave a laughing part on that? Like, unbelievable. That's really rude. Take 5 minutes to look up requirements, says Chloe Butler, of a wildlife firefighter. And yes, there are requirements. Who the hell is this person? What the hell is she talking about wildlife firefighting? And then she's like talking to Samantha for reaming me out. Yes, girl. Yes, girl. I'm from Boston. Yes. Fucking yes, girl. This guy's an uneducated troll. Wouldn't waste any more time on him.
Smiley face value.
What's up? But love what you said. Spot freaking on. All I've been saying this entire time is I believe there are people who would be willing to do this for less money than you because you seem like a cheapskate and you are a cheapskate. Or even no money, like me. I never said anything about not needing requirements or being able legally to do this job. The fact of the matter is, I gotta say, some of the work that I've done, believe me, some of the people who have seen me and actually witnessed some of the things I do, I'm not trying to be like bragging, but they've said, man, like the work levels and things you do are just insane. Like most people would have serious heat strokes and other stuff. Like you've done stuff. Like, am I saying I would go out and swim like 8-mile marathons right now and do jumping jacks while, simultaneously weightlifting 80 pounds over my head and singing the national anthem of France? No, I'm not going to do any of those things. I mean, I hate French anyway. It's not even our second language. This is Western Canada, not Canada. I deserve more than this. You don't even know me. You don't know you don't know who you're dealing with. How do I do that voice? You know what you're dealing with. No, wait. You know who you're dealing with. I sound like Chris. I'm trying to sound like... That's a hard voice to do. The guy from Scrooged. Is that Bobcat Goldweight or something? Oh, it's a tough one to do. I honestly think you're turning troll into someone who doesn't agree with you. I also said in a state of emergency, such as the one in Lytton, there are different measures which are required. Incidentally, what did you do during the heat wave? And she never answered that question. Like, think about it. Like, in a state of emergency, there are situations where you can, you don't have to have a badge or a state of license or certain requirements, post-secondary school education, big plaque on your wall, you know, COVID, vaccination number 1, number 2, you followed all the rules, you're liberal, you're on the fucking west side of Vancouver. You know, simply, you just got to do what you got to do. People are falling all over, their pants are burned, their $600 pants are on fire. Somebody's stabbing your eyes, they're stabbing your eyes. What do you do? I'm waiting to die. You know, that's you. This is where the whole argument comes from. You're focused on the fact that the money is not high enough. Then I call you out on that and say that some people simply would be willing to work in those conditions. Then you use it to argue about how I didn't understand about certain job requirements. Idiot! You also said that people who are willing to save lives are selfless heroes. I said I was willing to do this, but because I'm being hard on you, I'm uneducated and a troll. Do we got that part on here? It's somewhere. And she says, you don't know how to debate. You really should work on that. Of course I don't know how to debate. She's like a dummy. Yeah, evidently not enough people are willing to work for peanuts because their staffing shortages Are they a result of lack of money? Yeah, for sure. But someone asked, why aren't there volunteer paramedics? We already know about that. People we need. How do you not understand that? I'm glad you're willing to be a volunteer paramedic. You should go work on that. That's twice you said that there. Work on that. I have never at any time disagreed with you that people don't want to work for peanuts. I said there are people who would. I included little pictures to help your little brain. And based on your endless focus on how the pay is low, it makes you look like a cheapskate. It makes you look like a cheapskate. Just look at your profile pic. You're like still in high school. Don't talk about what I don't know. You look like you don't even know how to buy beer. Bitch! You should really work on that bedside manner if you're planning on being a volunteer paramedic. You really like saying work on, don't you? Yeah, you got a lot of things to work on. Just making sure you know it. Oh my god. Okay, I'm done with this, man. Happy Canada Day. We're going to go outside and maybe fill some other stuff. We'll see what happens. Bye-bye-bye-bye. Beer. And I used my mind. I boxed him, I fainted. A couple of hits, couple of jabs. Worked him. Smart boxing. If I want to go in there and smash him out, like I did Deontay Wilder, I'll come in like a freight train. You don't be able to stop me. But if I want to use my technical boxing skills, just because you're racist against my gypsy background, don't mean I don't understand a thing or two about boxing.